I have with us three exceptional thinkers in the space of innovation. Innovation in the corporate case, and also in the case of John Cowell, innovation in the public sphere for very large scale innovation. All experts, all renowned, and I'll start with John. John Cowell is the founder and president of the Institute for Large Scale Innovation. He's often called Mr. Innovation or Mr. Creativity, which he was dubbed by The Economist. And he truly is a world authority on the issue. What you don't see in most of his bios is he's an awesome, awesome jazz pianist. I believe he's done some Broadway musicals, and he also has an MD. So it tells you something about what goes on in this type of mind. Tremendous variety. And you know, and if there's an emergency in the house, you've got a jazz pianist who can take care of you.
Don't bet on it.
Second, it's my pleasure to introduce to the BSR audience Professor Rosabeth Kanter. She's a professor at the Harvard Business School, and for the past 25 years has taught, written, and lectured and consulted on innovation, on strategy, and leadership in change. What a perfect set of skills she brings to our conversation today. She's currently on a national book tour, so you'll be not surprised to hear her mention her new book. Let's see it. Supercorp. She has 25 years of experience. She has 2 other accolades, which I find amusing, because I wonder if you put them together what it means. She's on 2 top 50 lists. She was once mentioned as one of the top 50 most powerful women in the world, and one of the 50 most powerful business thinkers in the world. So there you go. And we all look forward to your book.
I did a rap song. If he did jazz, I did a rap song.
And she did a rap song. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So if we get really low energy tonight, watch out. And third is Hannah Jones. She's a vice president for sustainability at Nike and corporate responsibility. Now, that title could mean a lot of things. And in Nike's case and in Hannah's case, it means that she and her team are responsible for making sure that Nike thrives in a sustainable economy. And to do that, they're driving innovation into the heart of the business, and they're aiming at a closed-loop business model. Also, what most people don't know about about Hannah is that she's been doing this work for a very long time. She's no newbie to the field. In fact, she's been working in the field since before it actually was a field. She's a true pioneer, and she's probably one of the humblest leaders that we have in the field. So join me in welcoming her, and we'll kick off the session. Thank you. Like all of our plenaries and our sessions at the conference, this is aimed to be dynamic. Get your questions ready. We're going to have a quick conversation amongst ourselves for your entertainment, and then it's up to you to ask great questions. So John, to kick off, not only what's innovation, but what's sustainable innovation?
Well, we're talking about 2 words that are among the most used in English or in fact any language in the world these days. I went on Google this morning and Googled the word innovation, which as a card-carrying person interested in innovation, I frequently do as my litmus paper. And this morning it was 115 million hits for innovation. And sustainability got 32 million hits, so it's definitely in contention. And this, of course, is both, I think, the good news and the bad news. The good news is that these are subject matters that have come to the top of the corporate and the public sector agenda. The bad news is that these terms are often used in quite vague ways, and when you concatenate sustainability and innovation, the hazard is that you're piling vagueness on vagueness. So I want to take my few minutes here to do first of all, a little audience participation. I'm going to ask a couple of questions of you.
Do we get to sing along?
You thought you could kind of sit back, but au contraire. So the first question is this. How many of you feel that innovation, however you understand it right now, is fundamental to your, not just your CSR activities, but really fundamental to the future of the organization that you work in? Okay, so that's about 98.5%, pretty high number. And let me ask then the second question, which is a little bit more of the tricky question, which is this. How many of you in your organization have a system for managing innovation that satisfies just a few simple tests? Your people know that the system exists, so it's not some kind of state secret. The system works pretty well, whatever that might mean to you, so we're going to be really lenient. And third, on some basis, no matter how irregular, the system yields measurable value, strategic value for your organization. How many people have that kind of a system in their organization? Okay, so 11 people, right? So, you know, lest you think that this says something about this particular group, I've been asking these questions now for years, and the numbers typically come back similar to this, whether it's a corporate audience or a government audience. The aspiration for innovation has never been higher, but the how of innovation is still kind of, in some respect, a black box. And because there is no three-ring binder that will help any of us to articulate the action plan for innovation in our organizations, because in many respects it's kind of a design exercise, you know, this then leads to the hazard of vagueness. You know, nobody wants these days to be considered uninnovative, right? Just like in the 80s when entrepreneurship was in vogue, nobody wanted to be considered a bureaucrat, right? We all wanted to do the cool thing, which was to be, you know, the font of new ideas or the font of new ventures or whatnot. But I think it's very important in our conversation this afternoon to be very clear about what innovation and sustainability are and what they are not, and to begin that task of personalizing it for each of us. So I like to look at innovation as the set of capabilities that drives the continuous realization of a desired future. That it really is about satisfying some sense of purpose. You know, innovation is a set of organizational and societal muscles, can be used for malign as well as good purposes. And they can be used for narrow corporate profit objectives or for societal transformation. So it really matters how the purpose of innovation is framed. And then, you know, innovation isn't just about coming up with a few new ideas that you can make a margin on. Innovation can be the engine of societal transformation. I mean, the whole notion of large-scale innovation is to look at the capabilities in society that are the sum total of public, private, NGO, and civil society, and how new kinds of conversations allow for the transformation of, you know, for instance, basic societal services. You know, there's a need for innovation everywhere, in education, in health and wellness, in helping citizens with sustainable lifestyles, government 2.0, government 3.0. So the need for innovation at a large scale has never been greater. And that, of course, forces us to get a lot more specific and a lot more critical in our thinking about how to do it. Now, the sustainability agenda, if I just quickly turn to that, is kind of equally fraught in the sense that, you know, if you look at definitions, they're all over the place. I mean, you know, sustainability is looked as the ability to endure, as the ability to engender greater well-being, as the, you know, kind of support for diversity either in society or in biological systems, as, you know, ecological thinking and so forth and so on. And I think once again, we're confronted with the need to define it based on what we value and what we consider to be important, because there is no three-ring binder, once again, for figuring this out. We all have to figure it out for ourselves. The good news about the current attention to innovation and sustainability is that it forces internal strategic conversations that in many organizations are about going down to the studs and figuring out how to rebuild, whether it be in terms of serving the interests of a better, faster, cheaper model, rationalizing supply chain, thinking about the uncertainty of non-renewable inputs to a supply chain, or whether it be more existential issues around satisfying emergent customer needs, thinking about customer and citizen needs in terms of green, or in terms of, at the opposite extreme, thinking about changing the nature of the game and focusing really on the white space and what could be but is not. So nothing in some respects could be more important to our specific discussion about CSR or about, you know, the general societal conversation of where the heck we're going to go in a period of great stress and reset